in Covey. And he teaches courses in corporations, big corporations. Every weekend he's teaching big people and big corporations how to get along. So he knows he knows it. He lives it, he knows it. And in the city he lives, there's 2 temples that don't get along. And there's absolutely nothing he can do to help. Although he can help Google, he can help Cisco, but he can't help this guy. And you just have to sit back and look at it and go, that's just how it is. You know, sometimes that's all you can do. And hope and pray that it'll get better, and just take it as a test. Well, this is a test of my humility. Now Krishna wants me to be humble. And I just went through a situation like that, where I felt much more qualified to do something that someone else did. And I don't think the person who did it personally felt qualified. And I just have way more experience at doing it than he does. And I had to sit and watch all the things he did that I wouldn't do. I was like, okay, Krishna wants it. And I could see the benefit of him doing this because he had status, and the status had a lot of weight and people appreciated it. Maybe they would have appreciated it, maybe I wouldn't have been as appreciated, I don't know. But sometimes you just have, okay, I'm not doing it for whatever reason. What can you do? It's just like, you know, maybe someday I'll do it. Maybe next year I'll be on stage, but this year, no. Maybe never. Maybe I'm not as good as I think. What do you think? That's okay? It's not easy. I'm not saying any of this is easy. In fact, I'm saying none of this is easy. I'm not telling you, you know, I expect you're just going to be able to do all this. But what I'm saying is that if you don't do this, it's going to create problems on some level for you or the people you're dealing with. So even though it may not feel right, it's just sometimes what's right is not right, but it is right. Should I say that again? Sometimes what's not right is right, even though it's not right. So what's right in this situation is you should do it, because you know, you can see the mistakes they're going to make. So what's right is you should do it. But it's not right to demand that you should do it. So what's right in that situation is you humbly approach them. You know, if you'd like, I have experience, you know, I could help with this. Not that he's going to make mistakes, he's not qualified, I don't think he should do it. And they might say, no, it's okay, he's going to do it. And so, what's right is now not right. And what's right for you now is to accept it. So you're right that you're better, and now you're right to accept that he's going to do it. Right? Does that make sense?
Yes.
Because we're bringing it to a level of what's right in Krishna consciousness, even though practically it may not be right. If it's right in Krishna consciousness, that's a higher principle. And then if you're actually the other part of Murphy's Law, whoever's law it is, if you're actually qualified and you stick around long enough, you'll be in that position sooner or later, because people will see it. That you humbly stood at the sideline and, you know, you gave your advice here and there, and then people will say, you know, I remember you told us to do this and we didn't. Can you help us? Or someone else will say, Nikhil will say, you know, what's your name? Nimai? Nikhil will tell Janitai, no, you should get Nimai to do this, he's really good. And then he may ask you. So, but you stood by humbly and now you got asked to do it. So sometimes it works like that. You believe it? This is my experience. Does someone not believe that? Or want to discuss it further? Or it's like I said, it's difficult. I'm not sitting up saying, yeah, you know, screaming at you, you should do this and don't be proud. I'm saying, this is what's right. I understand it's going to be difficult to do it, but in the long run it's best. Because doing what's right is always best, even if we have to sacrifice something. And I think as an organization, if we're sincere then generally things work themselves out in the long run, that the right things do get done eventually. If we just wait. We have some situations, another situation we have. Some temples have temple presidents who are willing to do the job, but they don't really feel qualified, but there's no one else to do it. And they're not doing as good a job as really we need a temple president to do. Either they're not good people persons or they're not good managers. And people point it out, but there's no one else to do it, so there's no other solution. Everybody knows he's not the right person. He knows he's not the right person. Everyone is saying, we need to get a good president, he's not good, the temple's going down. Well, do you want to do it? No, I don't want to do it. Do you want to do it? No, I'm not qualified. There's no one else to do it. So sometimes it's one of those, what I call a moment where you just have to accept because there isn't anything else that can be done. So you understand. Because of A, B, C, and D, that's why he's doing it. Because all the big donors want him to do it, they don't want you to do it, even though you're better. And if he doesn't do it, we don't get the money that we need for the project to do it. So you go, okay, I just have to accept that. So sometimes there's moments like that where you just go, okay, I accept. I hate it, but I accept it. Because I have to. And that's a challenge. You agree? Whoa. Do you agree that's a challenge? To accept something? Yeah. So that's something we have to learn to do, is accept situations the way they are when we know they can't be any other way. And I personally think that is something that requires a great amount of Krishna consciousness. And if we see it that way, we say, okay, I have to learn how to accept, and that's going to require a lot of Krishna consciousness, so that's good. That's a challenge for me. And if I can't accept, I should reflect. I'm not being Krishna conscious. You agree? When we're not accepting something that we can't change, we're not being Krishna conscious. Yes? Anybody not agree? You're too afraid to say, I don't agree. No, it's true. It is one of the big challenges we have, is to accept things we can't change. Huge challenge. But we have to understand that's what Krishna consciousness is. We're not controllers. That's the ABC of Krishna consciousness. None of us in this room are controllers, but we want to control things we can't change. I don't want him to be in charge. I should be in charge. We want to control that, and we can't, because nobody's asking you to do it. Nobody wants you to do it. Nobody thinks you can do a good job. You go, no, I was a sergeant in the army. He's a high school dropout. He's only 19. I'm 29. You know, there's no question. No, but he's been a devotee 8 years. You've been a devotee 1 year, so he's going to do it. And then he does it, and everybody's frustrated. He makes a mess. He has a nervous breakdown. And then a year later they say, I think you should do it. Yes? Anybody seen that happen before?
Yes.
Yeah. So when they say, no, you're not going to do it, you just go, okay. And you watch him make a mess of it, and you just have to tolerate it. And that's not easy. It's really difficult. But that's Krishna consciousness. Does that make sense? Yeah. So I think we have to end here. We can continue tomorrow with questions. By the grace of Deepak, we have many of my CDs of workshops. So we have one on the mind, one on forgiveness, japa, cooperation, marriage, vows, balance, sadhana, and 2 music CDs. And Deepak's going to wheel and deal with you, so you can get the best possible price, especially if you buy large quantities. These are series on one topic, and they go from 10 to 50 hours depending on the CD you get. So most of them are in DVDs because they're like 2 gigabytes of MP3 files. So these are workshops which I feel extremely important. Also, my Pastimes with Prabhupada is there. So they're available tonight and tomorrow night. And we will see you tomorrow, again at 6. And we'll go a little deeper. And I hope you got something to reflect on. sleep on tonight, and then we'll discuss tomorrow. And then tomorrow, what we can do, maybe I'll end the workshop, if possible, a little earlier, and then if anyone has any personal questions,